Well, what do you say? Shall we plunge into the world of Tobit, which will, I think,
It's a good name, Tobit.
it's a great name. And his
Of all
son
the
has
biblical
got
names, I don't think I've heard many children
Mhm.
named
Tobit.
Tobit.
Tobit, and his son is Tobias,
Oh, okay.
which is not such an unusual name.
Yeah,
Toby,
yeah.
we call,
Toby. Yeah.
yeah,
I like Tobias. I don't like Tobit.
yeah.
I like Tobias too.
Everybody wanted to know about the dog's name.
Oh,
You know, I gave the dog a big billing in this book. The dog is there. Okay. Okay. Let's go.
okay.
Okay. This book tells the story of Tobit, son of Tobiel, son of Hananiel, son of Aduel, son of Gabael, son of Raphael, son of Raguel, of the descendants of Asiel, of the tribe of Naphtali, who in the days of King Shalmaneser of the Assyrians was taken into captivity from Thisbe, which is to the south of Kadesh Naphtali in upper Galilee, above Asher toward the west and north of Fogor. Whoops. I, Tobit, walked in the ways of truth and righteousness all the days of my life. I performed many acts of charity for my kindred and my people who had gone with me in exile to Nineveh in the land of the Assyrians. When I was in my own country, in the land of Israel, while I was still a young man, the whole tribe of my ancestor Naphtali deserted the house of David and Jerusalem. This city had been chosen from among all the tribes of Israel, where all the tribes of Israel should offer sacrifice, and where the temple, the dwelling of God, had been consecrated and established for all generations forever. Excuse me one sec. I have to plug in my desk light. Okay. Because I'm having trouble seeing the words now. Ah,
The older I get, the more light I need.
that's a lot better. All my kindred and our ancestral house of Naphtali sacrificed to the calf that King Jeroboam of Israel had erected in Dan and on all the mountains of Galilee. But I alone went often to Jerusalem for the festivals, as it is prescribed for all Israel by an everlasting decree. I would hurry off to Jerusalem with the first fruits of the crops and the firstlings of the flock, the tithes of the cattle, and the first shearings of the sheep. I would give these to the priests, the sons of Aaron, at the altar. Likewise, the tenth of the grain, wine, olive oil, pomegranates, figs, and the rest of the fruits to the sons of Levi who ministered at Jerusalem. Also, for 6 years, I would save up a second tenth in money and go and distribute it in Jerusalem. A third tenth I would give to the orphans and widows. and to the converts who had attached themselves to Israel. I would bring it and give it to them in the 3rd year, and we would eat it according to the ordinance decreed concerning it in the law of Moses and according to the instructions of Deborah, the mother of my father Tobiah, for my father had died and left me an orphan. When I became a man, I married a woman, a member of our own family, and by her I became the father of a son, whom I named Tobias. After I was carried away captive to Assyria and came as a captive to Nineveh, every one of my kindred and my people ate the food of the Gentiles. But I kept myself from eating the food of the Gentiles, because I was mindful of God with all my heart. The Most High gave me favor and good standing with Shalmaneser, and I used to buy everything he needed. Until his death, I used to go into Media and buy for him there. While in the country of Media, I left bags of silver worth 10 talents in trust with Gabael, the brother of Gabri. But when Shalmaneser died, and his son Sennacherib reigned in his place, the highways into Media became unsafe, and I could no longer go there. In the days of Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, I performed many acts of charity to my kindred, those of my tribe. I would give my food to the hungry and my clothing to the naked. And if I saw the dead body of any of my people thrown out behind the wall of Nineveh, I would bury it. I also buried any whom King Sennacherib put to death when he came fleeing from Judea in those days of judgment that the King of heaven executed upon him because of his blasphemies. For in his anger, he put to death many Israelites. But I would secretly remove the bodies and bury them. So when Sennacherib looked for them, he could not find them. Then one of the Ninevites went and informed the king about me, that I was burying them. So I hid myself. And when I realized that the king knew about me and that I was being searched for to be put to death, I was afraid and ran away. Then all my property was confiscated. Nothing was left to me that was not taken into the royal treasury, except my wife, Anna, and my son, Tobias. But not 40 days passed before 2 of Sennacherib's sons killed him. And they fled to the mountains of Ararat, and his son Esarhaddon reigned after him. He appointed Ahikar, the son of my brother Hanael, over all the accounts of his kingdom, and he had authority over the entire administration. Ahikar interceded for me, and I returned to Nineveh. Now, Ahikar was chief cupbearer, keeper of the signet, and in charge of administrations of the accounts under King Sennacherib of Assyria. So Esarhaddon reappointed him. He was my nephew, and so a close relative. And during the reign of Esarhaddon, I returned home, and my wife Anna and my son Tobias were restored to me. At our festival of Pentecost, which is the sacred festival of weeks, a good dinner was prepared for me, and I reclined to eat. When the table was set for me, and an abundance of food placed before me, I said to my son Tobias, "Go, my child, and bring whatever poor person you may find of our people among the exiles in Nineveh, who is wholeheartedly mindful of God, and he shall eat together with me. I will wait for you until you come back." So Tobias went to look for some poor person of our people. When he had returned, he said, "Father," and I replied, "Here I am, my child." Then he went on to say, "Look, Father, one of our own people has been murdered and thrown into the marketplace, and now he lies there strangled." Then I sprang up, left the dinner before even tasting it, and removed the body from the square and laid it in one of the rooms until sunset, when I might bury it. When I returned, I washed myself and ate my food in sorrow. Then I remembered the prophecy of Amos, how he said against Bethel, "Your festivals shall be turned into mourning, and all your songs into lamentation." And I wept. When the sun had set, I went and dug a grave and buried him. And my neighbors laughed and said, "Is he still not afraid? He has already been hunted down to be put to death for doing this, and he ran away. Yet here he is again, burying the dead." That same night, I washed myself and went into my courtyard and slept by the wall of the courtyard, and my face was uncovered because of the heat. I did not know that there were sparrows on the wall. Their fresh droppings fell into my eyes and produced white films. I went to physicians to be healed, but the more they treated me with ointments, the more my vision was obscured by the white films until I became completely blind. For 4 years, I remained unable to see. All my kindred were sorry for me, and Ahikar took care of me for 2 years before he went to Elimais. At that time, also, my wife Anna earned money at women's work. She is to send what she made to the owners, and they would pay wages to her. One day, the 7th of distress, when she cut off a piece she had woven and sent it to the owners, they paid her full wages and also gave her a young goat for a meal. When she returned to me, the goat began to bleat. So I called her and said, "Where did you get this goat? It is surely not stolen, is it? Return it to the owners, for we have no right to eat anything stolen." But she said to me, "It was given to me as a gift in addition to my wages." But I did not believe her and told her to return it to the owners. I became flushed with anger against her over this. Then she replied to me, "Where are your acts of charity? Where are your righteous deeds? These things are known about you." Then, with much grief and anguish of heart, I wept, and with groaning began to pray. "You are righteous, O Lord, and all your deeds are just. All your ways are mercy and truth. You judge the world. And now, O Lord, remember me and look favorably upon me. Do not punish me for my sins and for my unwitting offenses and those that my ancestors committed before you. They sinned against you and disobeyed your commandments. So you gave us over to plunder, exile, and death, to become the talk, the byword, and an object of reproach among all the nations among whom you have dispersed us. And now your many judgments are true in exacting penalty from me for my sins. For we have not kept your commandments and have not walked in accordance with truth before you. So now deal with me as you will. Command my spirit to be taken from me, so that I may be released from the face of the earth and become dust. For it is better for me to die than to live, because I have had to listen to undeserved insults, and great is the sorrow within me. Command, O Lord, that I be released from this distress. Release me to go to the eternal home. And do not, O Lord, turn your face away from me. For it is better for me to die than to see so much distress in my life and to listen to insults. On the same day, at Ecbatana in Media, it also happened that Sarah, the daughter of Raguel, was reproached by one of her father's maids, for she had been married to 7 husbands, and the wicked demon Asmodeus had killed each of them before they had been with her, as is customary for wives. So the maid said to her, "You are the one who kills your husbands. See, you have already been married to 7 husbands and have not borne the name of a single one of them. Why do you beat us? Because your husbands are dead? Go with them. May we never see a son or daughter of yours." Heavy. On that day, Sarah was grieved in spirit and wept. When she had gone up to her father's upper room, she intended to hang herself. But she thought it over and said, "Never shall they reproach my father, saying to him, 'You had only one beloved daughter, but she hanged herself because of her distress.' And I shall bring my father in his old age down in sorrow to Hades. It is better for me not to hang myself, but to pray the Lord that I may die and not listen to these reproaches any more." At the same time, with hands outstretched toward the window, she prayed and said, "Blessed are you, merciful God. Blessed is your name forever. Let all your works praise you forever. And now, Lord, I turn my face to you and raise my eyes toward you. Command that I be released from the earth and not listen to such reproaches any more. You know, O Master, that I am innocent of any defilement with a man, and that I have not disgraced my name or the name of my father in the land of my exile. I am my father's only child. He has no other child to be his heir, and he has no close relative or other kindred for whom I should keep myself as wife. Already 7 husbands of mine have died. Why should I still live? But if it is not pleasing to you, O Lord, to take my life, hear me in my disgrace." At that very moment, the prayers of both of them were heard in the glorious presence of God. So Raphael was sent to heal both of them. Tobit, by removing the white films from his eyes so that he might see God's light with his eyes, and Sarah, daughter of Raguel, by giving her in marriage to Tobias, son of Tobit, and by setting her free from the wicked demon Asmodeus. For Tobias was entitled to have her before all others who had desired to marry her. At the same time that Tobit returned from the courtyard into his house, Sarah, daughter of Raguel, came down from her upper room. That same day, Tobit remembered the money that he had left in trust with Gabael in Rages in Media. And he said to himself, now I have asked for death. Why do I not call my son Tobias and explain to him about the money before I die? Then he called his son Tobias, and when he came to him, he said, my son, when I die, give me a proper burial. Honor your mother, and do not abandon her all the days of her life. Do whatever pleases her, and do not grieve her in anything. Remember her, my son, because she faced many dangers for you while you were in her womb. And when she dies, bury her beside me in the same grave. Revere the Lord all your days, my son, and refuse to sin or to transgress his commandments. Live uprightly all the days of your life, and do not walk in the ways of wrongdoing. For those who act in accordance with truth will prosper in all their activities. To all those who practice righteousness, give alms from your possessions, and do not let your eye begrudge the gift when you make it. Do not turn your face away from anyone who is poor, and the face of God will not be turned away from you. If you have many possessions, make your gift from them in proportion. If few, do not be afraid to give according to the little you have. So you will be laying up a good treasure for yourself against the day of necessity. For almsgiving delivers from death and keeps you from going into the darkness. Indeed, almsgiving for all who practice it is an excellent offering in the presence of the Most High. Beware, my son, of every kind of fornication. First of all, marry a woman from among the descendants of your ancestors. Do not marry a foreign woman who is not of your father's tribe. For we are the descendants of the prophets. Remember, my son, that Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our ancestors of old, all took wives from among their kindred. They were blessed in their children, and their posterity will inherit the land. So now, my son, love your kindred, and in your heart do not disdain your kindred, the sons and daughters of your people, by refusing to take a wife for yourself from among them. For in pride there is ruin and great confusion, and in idleness there is loss and dire poverty, because idleness is the mother of famine. Do not keep over until the next day the wages of those who work for you, but pay them at once. If you serve God, you will receive payment. Watch yourself, my son, in everything you do, and discipline yourself in all your conduct. And what you hate, do not do to anyone. Do not drink wine to excess, or let drunkenness go with you on your way. Give some of your food to the hungry, and some of your clothing to the naked. Give all your surplus as alms, and do not let your eye begrudge your giving of alms. Place your bread on the grave of the righteous, but give none to sinners. Seek advice from every wise person, and do not despise any useful counsel. At all times, bless the Lord God and ask him that your ways may be made straight and that all your paths and plans may prosper. For none of the nations has understanding, but the Lord himself will give them good counsel. But if he chooses otherwise, he casts down to the deepest Hades. So now, my child, remember these commandments and do not let them be erased from your heart. And now, my son, let me explain to you that I left 10 talents of silver in trust with Gabael, son of Gabrias, in Rages in Media. Do not be afraid, my son, because we have become poor. You have great wealth if you fear God and flee from every sin and do what is good in the sight of the Lord your God. Then Tobias answered his father, Tobit, I will do everything that you have commanded me, father, but how can I obtain the money? He does not know me, and I do not know him. What evidence am I to give him so that he will recognize and trust me and give me the money? Also, I do not know the roads to Media or how to get there. Then Tobit answered his son Tobias, he gave me his bond, and I gave him my bond. I divided his in two. We each took one part, and I put one with the money. And now 20 years have passed. I left this money in trust. So now, my son, find yourself a trustworthy man to go with you, and we will pay him wages until you return. But get back the money from Gabael. So Tobias went out to look for a man to go with him to Media, someone who was acquainted with the way. He went out and found the angel Raphael standing in front of him. But he did not perceive that he was an angel of God. Tobias said to him, where do you come from, young man? From your kindred, the Israelites, he replied, and I have come here to work. Then Tobias said to him, do you know the way to go to Media? Yes, he replied, I have been there many times. I am acquainted with it and know all the roads. I have often traveled to Media and would stay with our kinsman Gabael, who lives in Rages of Media. It is a journey of 2 days from Ecbatana to Rages, for it lies in the mountainous area where Ecbatana is in the middle of the plain. Then Tobias said to him, wait for me, young man, until I go in and tell my father, for I do need you to travel with me, and I will pay you your wages." He replied, "All right, I will wait, but do not take too long." So Tobias went in to tell his father, Tobit, and said to him, "I have just found a man who was one of our own Israelite kindred." He replied, "Call the man in, my son, so that I may learn about his family and to what tribe he belongs and whether he is trustworthy enough to go with you." Then Tobias went out and called him and said, "Young man, my father is calling for you." So he went in to him, and Tobit greeted him first. He replied, "Joyous greetings to you." But Tobit retorted, "What joy is left for me anymore? I am a man without eyesight. I cannot see the light of heaven, but I lie in the darkness like the dead, who no longer see the light. Although still alive, I am among the dead. I hear people, but I cannot see them." But the young man said, "Take courage. The time is near for God to heal you. Take courage." Then Tobit said to him, "My son Tobias wishes to go to Media. Can you accompany him and guide him? I will pay your wages, brother." He answered, "I can go with him, and I know all the roads, for I have often gone to Media and have crossed all the plains, and I am familiar with its mountains and all of its roads." And Tobias said to him, "Brother, of what family are you, and from what tribe? Tell me, brother." He replied, "Why do you need to know my tribe?" But Tobit said, "I want to be sure, brother, whose son you are and what your name is." He replied, "I am Azariah, the son of the great Hananiah, one of your relatives." Then Tobit said to him, "Welcome, God save you, brother. Do not feel bitter toward me, brother, because I wanted to be sure about your ancestry. It turns out that you are a kinsman and of good and noble lineage. For I knew Hananiah and Nathan, the two sons of Shemaliah, and they used to go with me to Jerusalem and worshipped with me, and were not led astray. Your kindred are good people. You come of good stock. Hearty welcome." And he added, "I will pay you a drachma a day as wages, as well as expenses for yourself and my son. So go with my son, and I will add something to your wages." Raphael answered, "I will go with him, so do not fear. We shall leave in good health and return to you in good health, because the way is safe." So Tobit said to him, "Blessings be upon you, brother." Then he called his son and said to him, "Son, prepare supplies for the journey and set out with your brother. May God in heaven bring you safely there and return you in good health to me. And may his angel, my son, accompany you both for your safety." Before he went out to start his journey, he kissed his father and mother. Tobit then said to him, "Have a safe journey." But his mother began to weep and said to Tobit, "Why is it that you have sent my child away? Is he not the staff of our hand as he goes in and out before us? Do not heap money upon money, but let it be a ransom for our child. For the life that is given to us by the Lord is enough for us. Tobit said to her, "Do not worry. Our child will leave in good health and return to us in good health. Your eyes will see him on the day when he returns to you in good health. Say no more. Do not fear for them, my sister, for a good angel will accompany him. His journey will be successful, and he will come back in good health." So she stopped weeping. The young man went out, and the angel went with him, and the dog came out with him, and they went along with them. I think we'll stop here. How's that? It was a nice chunk. It's a pretty good story, isn't it? It sort of moves along. Yeah. And
I'm glad the dog made his entrance.
the dog
was
came
nice.
there. I sort of misread. I should have said, and the dog came out with him and went along with them.
Yeah.
That's what I should have said. Yeah. So the dog is trotting behind Tobias and, well, this guy who says his name is, I forget, Azariah, but he's really the angel Raphael.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Evidently, they're not allowed to say who they are.
Angels? I guess not.
Well, that's what
I wonder, yeah, why not just say, "Hey, I'm Raphael. This kid is going to be safe with me."
Comments say that they're not supposed to tell who they are.
Oh,
Angels
I
are
didn't know.
always in disguise.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Do
It's
you think
interesting
that's
that
true?
it's interesting that it starts in the first person, and then when it gets to the daughter, it pulls back to a narrator.
You're right.
Oh, yeah.
It's so. I find that interesting too. I didn't mark the exact point where it turned to third person.
When
Was
the
it when it
was
talked
with the daughter? Yeah,
about Sarah,
yeah,
whose
yeah.
7 husbands all died in succession?
Poor guys.
Poor guys.
It's amazing she got to 7.
Well, the footnotes say that Asmodeus was lusting after Sarah. And that's
Oh
why he
my
killed her
goodness.
husbands.
Oh, well, sure he did. But it made me think of the woman at the well in Samaria who had
That's right.
5 husbands, remember, I guess in a row. I don't know. It's just so many lovely things. It's like, feed the poor, take care of the widow. There's a lot here about spending for the poor and not worrying about, don't begrudge them the giving. It's like really nice. You could almost hear Jesus saying these things,
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so what do you say? Raise your hand. Do you like Tobit?
Yeah, I like it.
I think it's okay. Yeah. We've read about half of it.
It's kind of different.
Think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forget how many chapters we got. There's 14 chapters. We read 5. Okay.
It moves right along. There's a story that going along there.
It does move along.
Yeah.
It's got 14 chapters. So we really have 8 more chapters to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good place to stop because now the adventure begins.
The adventure starts. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm glad
you have the dog.
Yeah. We were all waiting for the dog to show up. It's the only dog in the Bible. It's the only pet in the Bible, I think.
I think that's I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think dogs were necessarily pets. I think those dogs had a job to do.
Let's see.
It'd be a good name for a dog if I ever adopt one.
What? Tobias?
Or Tobias.
It doesn't say anything about the dog going with them.
just a random dog.
And it's what I really want to know about, but nobody says anything about it. we'll have to say something about it. Okay. But I think I read somewhere it's the only actual pet in the Bible. Well, I guess kind of pet because I think he would have stayed home with Tobit if he was a working dog. And the only person working in the house was Tobit's wife.
Yeah.
She was working for wages.
Yeah, but he would be a guard dog.
For other people.
I
It
mean,
might have been a guard dog.
He was a guard dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
You take him out on the road because there was all kinds of dangerous stuff out on the road.
Yeah, I guess so.
For.
Yeah. Yeah. Great, Sandy. We need a practical explanation too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading a book which had some old passages of someone in authority was complaining about, this is in the 15th or 16th century, somewhere in there, and they were complaining about the conditions in the city in Istanbul. And one of the complaints was that, this was dirty and there was sewage and the dogs were starving. No one was feeding the dogs. And when I went to Istanbul last year, there were quite a few dogs. There were cats, but there also were dogs, just kind of wandering.
Sort of loose dogs.
And the guide would, they were I don't know if I'd call them friendly, but the guide would pet them, and he explained to us that the city, Istanbul as a city, had an official veterinarian whose job it was to, all the dogs had tags, and his job was to go and attend to these dogs, stray dogs. They were fed, they got veterinary services. It was against the law to harm them.
Yeah.
You could be put in jail or worse.
Yeah.
And it was, I said, what are they? They're not holy, it's not like cows in India.
Yeah.
But they take care of them. And they take care of the cats too, though.
Yeah. Well,
I'd never encountered that before.
Me too. Well, if you go to Rome, there are millions of stray cats in places. Yeah. And some people feed them, but they're really feral cats. But I don't remember seeing dogs. That's really interesting.
The cats I can understand because they probably help keep down the rats and other things. But
the dogs,
the
the dogs are just hang out.
Dogs are just hanging out.
Yeah. I read somewhere a little essay by a woman who became a Christian later in life. And she said she was converted when she read about the dog trotting after Tobias.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She said a Bible that talks about something like that has to have a kind of depth that I haven't found.
Oh, interesting. What was her faith before that?
I don't know. She was probably like agnostic or something. I don't actually remember. But I remember that the dog trotting after Tobias was a big influence on her. Anywho, well, we'll continue with it, huh? Yeah, it's great. Well, we have to see what happens in Medea and Ecbatana, right? That's next.
Well, and how will Tobias meet his bride?
I know it. Yes, and I think it's going to be Sarah, isn't it?
And how are they going to meet?
And how are they going to get rid of the demon?
Well,
that's
what Raphael is.
That must be what Raphael is there for. Yeah.
He has a job.
He'll just pull his sword. Yeah, or something. Yeah.
He's in charge of the miracles.
Yeah.
Healing Tobit's sight and getting rid of the demon.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. We have to see what's going to happen with Tobit's sight. There's a lot going on here. Yeah. Oh gosh. Well, I'm glad you like it.
Yep. No,
It's
Yeah.
maybe there's some other stories in the Apocrypha we could read.
yeah, well, the other Apocrypha books are, I just glanced at them. Maccabees, I'm not, that's like history of, that's where the story of Hanukkah comes from,
Okay.
I think.
I think you're
And
right. Yeah.
yeah, and then there's some other books like Baruch and Sirach that are more sort of poetic,
Yes.
but they are Apocrypha or deuterocanonical. Yeah.
Deuterocanonical. What a word.
Secondarily canonical. Yeah. It's it's a very impressive word, isn't it, Sandy?
Only a Bible nerd would know that.
Only a Bible nerd would know that. I confess.
I think there's a passage in one of the Harry Potter books where one of the characters made up words by putting words together. So he
Yeah.
put one word and the other, and he just attached them, and that became a word.
Oh yeah.
Like
So this
German.
is sort of like one of these.
Like deuterocanonical. He would agglutinate words.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think the German language does that quite a bit.
Yeah, it must
Yeah.
be so.
Just long,
Yeah.
compound words.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh gosh. Okay.
All right.
Great. And I gotta bring, I made a bunch of palm crosses